All right. All right. It's live, man. All right. First off, I'm give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, which is named
Yahweh,
Allah, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem,
Hashem,
Harakat, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the brothers, man, out there who are sincere, pushing the truth and sincerity, man. Across the four corners of the earth. My name is Brother Howell Shai Zion.
Brother Malak.
All right. Just chilling, man. Through the spirit, man. Got the brother as well with us, man. So we're going to just go through the spirit and preach the scriptures, man, and do what we got to do, man, through the spirit power of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of the Son. And, we're just going to go spiritual, man. If you brothers got a precept, man, just bring it out. Well, first and foremost, man, we're going to talk about, judgment. It's going to be judgment. It's going to take place. And it's going to be a harsh time. Because just like Ephraim in the book of Hosea was going off, turning from the Lord and going on to other idols and different gods and everything, man. In the book of Hosea, the 10th chapter, in the 9th chapter, the Lord casted him out. And the Lord is getting ready to cast out Israel now again. Because they're turned on to idols, man. They're turned on to idols. They're turned on to false philosophies, man. They are turned on to different things and praising that instead of the Heavenly Father. So there will be a clear-cut judgment that's going to take place, and it's soon to come to pass, man. All right. But first and foremost, the Lord's going to bring a prophet, which we are the modern-day prophets, to warn you that if you don't repent, the Lord's going to destroy you 100%. All right. You will be destroyed. You got to watch how you deal with brothers. You got to watch how you deal with men of the Lord. All right. The prophets of the Lord. You can't just be treating them any kind of way you want. And you can't be going out here, man, just dealing like a what do they call that, man? What's a man harlot? What they call that, man?
Oh my God.
What's mango?
Whoremonger?
Whoremonger, yeah, like a whoremonger. Can't be a whoremonger. None of that garbage, man. Just playing women out, dogging women out. Can't be doing stuff like that, man. They belong on to the Lord. Can't be doing stuff like that. So yeah, man, let's get it.
Hosea 8.
I got something.
What you got, brother?
This is Zephaniah. Now, this scripture is ultimately talking about Judah, but we're going to equate it to today because Babylon is wicked, is all hell. But it says this. This is Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse number 2. It says, I will utterly consume all things from off the land, saith the Lord. Now, the Lord is going to utterly consume all things off of this place we know as America, a.k.a. Babylon the Great. All right? He's going to consume all things by what? The thermonuclear missiles. That's what's going to transpire. All right? The ultimate end game is those thermonuclear missiles, right along with Yahweh Shai and the angels' return, which they're going to set more fire on the land. All right?
Yep.
It says, I will consume man and beast, and I will consume the fowls of the heaven and the fishes of the sea, and the stumbling blocks with the wicked, and I will cut off man from off the land, saith the Lord. You see? So he's going to cut off man from off the land. Not only the elect of the nation of Israel, right, is going to be delivered out of the set destruction that's written in the Bible, that's written beforehand, that's been written before time. All right, those are the men that's going to make it out of here, Lord willing. And the rest of the land is going to be consumed. 2/3 of our people are going to be consumed, but ultimately they'll be returned in the kingdom through the men of the Lord. You got it, brother.
Correct. Right. Because the Lord has the prophets to speak before because of the destruction. Give me Jeremiah 28 real quick.
Yep. It's good scripture. And I'll follow up.
I'm going to grab the phone, bro. Just do it.
Is it 28?
Yeah, you got to be on the spot, so I might just use the phone.
I'll follow up with this scripture right after he's done.
says, wherefore the prophets that were before me, before thee of old, prophesied against many countries, man, and great kingdoms.
Jeremiah 28:8.
Yeah, war, pestilence, everything.
Right here, brother.
Yep, go ahead.
This is Jeremiah 28:8. This is
Right.
the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Right. And what were the great kingdoms? You know, the kingdom of Babylon. Okay. Well, first and foremost, man, the kingdom of Egypt, kingdom of Babylon, the kingdom of Medes and the Persians, the kingdom of the Grecians, and then you have the Roman Empire. And now we're living in the modern day Roman Empire, brothers. So the modern day Roman Empire is America, mystery, Babylon the Great in the book of Revelation. This place is ultimately going to be fully wiped out. Just like all the other kingdoms are no longer here. You don't see any remnant of Egypt. You don't see any remnant of Babylon. You don't see any remnant of Greece, the Grecian Empire. They've been reduced onto nothing. See what I mean? And the modern day empires of those are fully destroyed. The economies are ruined. They've all been destroyed. Slavery has been reduced. And when slavery is reduced, infrastructure is destroyed. The kingdom collapses, man. All right? The so-called Emancipation Proclamation was simply a transfer of ownership to gain more wealth and more revenue for the devil, man. The Edomites, the modern day elites. Okay?
Yeah.
The elites of society. Malak knows all the names, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, all you see is their customs. But there's customs there. Now there's the customs that's still left behind of all these other ancient kingdoms. And they have brought it back, and they brought their gods back, but they just changed the names of the gods, of all their gods. So a lot of these people don't even know who the hell they worshiping. They worshiping ancient gods from back then. Going back to Egypt, Syria, and
Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia, and all of those things of that nature. All these people are worshiping those gods, man.
Yep.
Okay, and they don't even know it. All they did was just change the names.
Correct.
You know?
Just like they got what's the name of that? Horoscopes. Horoscopes and all of that garbage and zodiac signs and what's the name of it? Astrology. All of that stuff is from ancient Mesopotamian culture, man.
That's correct.
I mean, you could go look it up yourself. You know, out there, you listeners out there, you go look up the ancient Mesopotamian culture, and you're going to see that the zodiac signs and all of that garbage goes back to paganism, and America's filled with it. So there's going to be judgment. There's going to be mercy on the elect, and the Lord willing, man, you know, we be delivered from the said perils and the destruction, which is to come.
Right. Hey, I'm gonna read that Jeremiah 28:8 real quick one more time.
All right.
I'm gonna follow up with this right after.
Con, this is Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8.
All right.
The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Okay. So that means the prophets that had been before the Lord, when he sent them, they came to tell about the destruction that was coming to that kingdom that once stood. They came to talk about that, right? So those prophets that were then, those prophets are now as well, because they're talking about this kingdom, this now kingdom, or AKA queendom, whatever you want to call it, is still wicked regardless of what it is, right? Now those same prophets are back here again today talking about the coming destruction and Yahushai's return on this one right here, this destruction. Okay?
Correct.
The pestilences are made up through the what? The CDCs and all these things of that nature. They put chemtrails in the air, they put this, they put that, they poison the food, so on and so forth. We got a whole list, right? The battles amongst themselves and so on and so forth. All right? But I'm going to follow up with this. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 32. It says, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So those same prophets that the Lord was talking about, Jeremiah 28:8, are back here again today on the earth. And they're back here prophesying, right? Standing in their lot at the end of the day and at the end of the day, which is meaning the end of this age, the end of this time, the end of this rulership. And they're prophesying. Go ahead, brother.
Right. Yeah, just to follow up with you, Job 31:3 says, "Is not destruction to the wicked, and a strange punishment to the workers of iniquity?"
Go ahead. You got it, brother.
So Ephraim, in the kingdom of, or really in the 700 BC time, they were being wicked, man, and they were being destroyed because they strayed from the Lord. Now, the same way as now, as you got the 2/3 of the nation of Israel straying away from the Lord right now, in their different religions and philosophies, all the evil that's out here, man, to partake in. And what did the Lord do? The Lord ultimately had mercy upon them. But what the deal is that there's got to be recompense. So that's why the Lord handed us over to the king of Assyria and was scattering us, man. Ultimately drove us out of there. But also that was a punishment, man. It's not, you're not doing good. To go into slavery is not doing well for yourself. But you're catching a judgment. Just like the 2/3 of the nation of Israel is going to get a judgment as well.
That's right.
That's
right. Hey, get me the scripture. I forgot what scripture it is. I know it's the rebellion is a sin of witchcraft. I think it's in either Deuteronomy. I think it might be in one of those. What is it? Deuteronomy what? Because right now the word rebellion, when you look up the word rebellion, means to make war against. So 2/3 of our people are making war against the Heavenly Father and his prophets, who he is sending out there with a helping hand to tell them and warn them about the coming destruction and warn them about how Yahweh Shai is coming to deliver the elect of the nation of Israel and how he's coming to put 2/3 of our people down, but ultimately you'll be returned to the kingdom. Go ahead, brother.
I got it, brother. This is 1 Samuel chapter 15.
Oh, it's 1 Samuel. 3. Okay.
Yeah. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry.
Right. Stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Right? Meaning stubbornness, you're going to worship something and you're just going to be stubborn about, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do what I want anyway. I don't give a damn. Don't matter what he got to say. I'm going to do it anyway. That's what our people say. You tell them, like, hey, man, stop eating pork, man. I put that pork down, man. Take that pork off your fork, man. All right? And they still look at you, man, the hell with that. Hell with what you saying, nigga. And that's what they call us. Look at them guys in dresses over there acting like they something special. No, well, actually, we are special. We are special people. But you don't understand that we're special people. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that's prideful. And this Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goeth before destruction,
right,
and an haughty spirit before a fall." Now, Israel is known for having a haughty spirit.
Right.
See? I'm going to go into the word haughty real quick, man.
Yeah, meaning high-minded, proud. Go ahead, you got it.
Yep. Hold on a second. Let me go into the actual definitions. Lucky. This is H13:63. Haughty says pride, loftiness, height, high, pride. Exaltation, grandeur, grandeur. They say you got delusion of grandeur. You're deluded into thinking that you are so special. And a lot of our people have delusion of grandeur. They think that they are excellent beyond measure. They're out of their damn flipping minds. Elation, arrogance.
Yeah, arrogance.
Pride, majesty, arrogance, magnificence. In height. So they're making themselves taller than they need to be. So in context, one more time, Proverbs 16:18, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. It's very prevalent in our today's world. There's a lot of haughty spirits out here that refuse to hearken onto the instruction of the Lord. And simply put, all you need to do is follow the scriptures, but you refuse to do that. You would much rather follow your own way, your own philosophies, giving praise to the golden calf, so to speak, spiritually, And then
Right.
also with the different idols that you have set up, money being one of them,
That's correct.
revenues of silver and gold, and then also men. You're idolizing men, bringing it to the point of witchcraft because it's
That's right.
rebellion. It's a rebellion against the Lord.
Right.
You're not following what the Lord wants you to do, man. You got it, bro.
And then first and foremost, how the hell are you gonna be arrogant when your ass is in captivity? You're gonna be arrogant in captivity with your enemy stepping on your neck every day. That don't make no damn sense. It just doesn't make any sense. You might as well just go ahead and say, well, you know what, man, the enemy just go ahead, he done defeated me. Well, guess what? That's not the case, because if you turn back and you repent to the Heavenly Father, as you should be doing, right? Because that's our power. At the time when we came out of Egypt, they were afraid of us. They were afraid of our power, man.
Mm-hmm.
So what? I don't understand. I don't understand, man. You know?
Yep. This is Proverbs 16 and 19. It's better it is to be of an humble spirit
Uh-huh.
with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud.
Wow.
All right. So verse 20. He that
Yep.
handleth the matter wisely shall find good. And whoso trusteth in the Lord Yahweh, happy is he. So at the ultimate time, man, and look, you got to trust in the Lord at the end of the day. You know,
Right.
this thing ain't going to be all but what you want it to be. You know, life ain't all about you. No, what you got, Precept?
Go ahead.
This is Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 24. And it came to pass, when Moses had made an end of the writing the words of this law in a book until they were finished, that Moses commanded the Levites, which bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord Yahweh, saying, take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant of the Lord Yahweh, your power, that it may be there for a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I'm yet alive with you this day, ye have been rebellious against the Lord Yahweh. And how much more after my death?
Right. Yes. So Moses knew that after he was gone, the leadership being weakened, that Israel was going to go off. And Israel went
Right.
super off at the point in time of Hosea's time. And Hosea prophesied about the destruction to come. And it was a bad destruction, man. You know, it was a bad destruction. Because ultimately it was a punishment for what Israel did, going off of different idols and gods, man. But Judah was faithful. That's why Judah didn't go into the captivity like that, man.
Right.
Not like Ephraim. Ephraim went into captivity first. You know,
That's right.
they had I think a 200-year head start, man.
Yeah. Con, you
Yep,
can read about that.
5 years, and then after that, you know, the Lord ultimately raised up Cyrus to smash the Babylonian Empire. That was mercy to free the Judites, man, the kingdom of Judah,
Right.
because they were under oppression, and they destroyed the temple, man. You know,
Right.
well, ultimately the Babylonians did, but then you know they freed them and rebuilt the temple, man.
That's right.
You know,
I
got it. Yep.
I got two verses. Well, I got actually a few verses. It's in the book of Hosea. The book of Hosea 4:1. It says, hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel, for the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land. And we're bringing them the knowledge and the truth of the Most High in this land, in this time. We're bringing them the truth, right? So it says, hear the word of the Lord. Okay, so let's jump down to verse 2 real quick. It says, by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. And that's what 2/3 is all about. 2/3 is all about swearing against the Lord, lying, killing, all right, stealing, committing adultery, just not following the laws at all, man. All right,
Right.
and they break out and blood touches blood. So now let's jump down here to verse 6. It says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And here we are with the knowledge of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, and they shun it away. They say, you know what, we don't want to hear what you got to say. What you got to say is BS, talking about us. Right? And it says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. All right, and it says this, as they were increased, so they sinned against me, therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. So guess what? Our people set their heart on iniquity, man. And that's all they do. They think about how can they err? How can they do something wicked to piss the Lord off?
Right. Being lofty because of money, you know?
And lofty because of money. High-minded, proud.
Yep. Ephraim, they were talking about that in Hosea. I think it was the 9th or 10th chapter. Ephraim was getting this money, you know, so they thought that they were straight. But the Lord had a problem with them, man.
Right.
You know, because just because you got monetary blessings, man, don't think like the Lord's dealing with you. Oh, the Lord is with me. This is a Christian church philosophy doctrine. Whoever's got the money, somehow they're blessed by God. Not necessarily, man. Scriptures say, man, hardly a rich man enter into the kingdom, roughly paraphrasing. It's harder for a rich man to enter into the kingdom than a camel to get through the eye of a needle. And the needle's eye is very, very little, man. All right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if the riches honestly equated to righteousness, then guess what? Joel Osteen would be the most, he'd be one of the most top dudes on the planet.
I would say
he'd be the top guy on the planet. If riches equated to righteousness, Donald Trump would be righteous, man.
Right.
You know, his family would be righteous. So that's not so. So don't be, just because you've been increased, man, don't think that's a good thing. You look at this, Hosea 4:7. Hosea 4:7. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore, I will change their glory into shame.
Con, yeah, I just read that. Con. That's the
spirit. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity, right? Just like you said. And that's the type of folliness that everybody's going against. You know, that's just made up a word. But go ahead.
Con, I got this right here in the same chapter. It says, whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart, meaning the mind. Verse 12. It says, my people ask counsel at their stocks. Now, when you look up the word stocks, that right there is talking about wood, idol, right? The brother can look that up if he wants, but that's what it's talking about wood. And their staff declared unto them, for the spirit of whoredoms have caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under their power, meaning Yahweh, right? They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains and burn incense. That's the same thing that our people doing today. Again, they sacrificing to this God. They sacrificing to that God, and they believe in this God. Well, brother, I don't believe in what you talking about, but I'm a sacrifice unto my God because my God says this. Well, your God wrong, because your God is an idol. He's not anything. He hasn't done anything. Right? So it says
your God doesn't have prophecy. You know,
right? Your God doesn't have prophecy. Matter of fact, show me your God's book of prophecies, and then you can tell me about if he's a God or not. It says they sacrifice unto the tops of the mountains,
right,
and burn incense upon the hills under oaks and pollers and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore, your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. So
let me say something too.
Go ahead, brother.
Let me say something too. Now, remember Muhammad Ali, right?
Right.
Or let's say Conor McGregor for the recent people. How he would say, yeah, I'm going to sleep him in 2 rounds. Call him Mystic Mac or whatever, right? It's just a bullshit name, but when he called the knockout, I'm going to knock him out in 2 rounds. And when he does it, it's emphatic. And you almost believe in the guy even more because he's doing what he says he's going to do. That's the God that we represent. The power of Israel says he's going He points over like Babe Ruth. I'm gonna knock it out the park right there. And then boom, when he's up the bat, boom, he knocks it straight out the park right there, right where he pointed. So we got a more sure word of prophecy that these scriptures say that certain things are going to come to pass, like the mark of the beast. There's going to be a RFID microchip that people are going to have to be forced with the decision to make whether you're going to take the microchip or whether you're going to forsake it. And then you're going to have to alternate lifestyle according to what the society is going to be dealing. You're going to have to partake in an alternate lifestyle, be off the grid. That's going to come to pass because we said so. And the scriptures say so. So the prophets are telling you what's going to happen. That's going to happen. That the mark of the beast is an RFID microchip that's going to be in your forefinger, between your forefinger and your thumb. Right there.
Or in your head.
Or in your head. The Neuralink. And all these things are going to come to pass, man. So that prophecy ultimately proves that our power, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, is the only power. Buddha can't do that. The God of Allah can't do that, man.
Yeah.
That was a fabricated God that came about 600 years after Yahweh Shai was born. After the prophets already prophesied Yahweh Shai was going to be born.
Right.
And he was born. And then certain things were going to happen later on that were also being fulfilled. So it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's a bunch of BS. That's what it is. It is nothing. It's nothing that solidifies that they are real, and that they could be called on, and that they will legitimately answer and hear your prayer.
Right. It doesn't follow through. Those other gods are fraudulent. The Lord of the Bible, the power of the Bible, the God of the Bible, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, they follow through with prophecy. We follow through. That's why we track the history, because the history shows you a track record, man. That's why your record is so important. To have a record or a pattern of good works is so important. Just like for a prosecution team to show a pattern of bad works for the defendant to make their case, they need to see the pattern of bad works so they can nail somebody. Same way that we do it on the flip side. To see a pattern of good works is a testimony to who the person is. You know, but by your works, you're gonna know them, man. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. And the Lord Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, listen, these prophecies are coming to pass. We're hastening the day of the Lord by talking the scriptures, by telling you the RFID microchip is going to happen, by telling you there's going to be wars and rumors of wars, by telling you there's going to be a fight out there in the Middle East, the so-called Middle East. There's going to be a fight, man, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the Valley of Decisions.
Yeah,
because why? Because Israel played the harlot, you know?
Yeah, that's prophet. That's prophecy.
Israel played the harlot, man.
Right.
But, you know, in Hosea, that was the case. Go ahead, brother.
I got something real quick. As we mentioned idols and stuff of that nature, right? It says this is in the book of Baruch, chapter 6, and verse, I'll start at verse 34. All right, it says, whether it be evil that one doeth unto them, or good that they not be able to recompense it, they can neither set up a king nor put him down. Right? This is the Lord talking about idols, or this is the prophet Jeremiah talking about idols. Right? And he's saying, in like matter, they can neither give riches nor money, though a man make a vow unto them and keep it not, they will not require it. They can save no man from death, neither deliver the weak from the mighty. They cannot restore a blind man to his sight, nor help any man in his distress. This is talking about idols. This is what Jeremiah is talking about. The idols can't do this, right? It says they can show no mercy to the widow, nor do good to the fatherless. They're gods of wood, and which are overlaid with gold and silver, are like the stones that be hewn out of the mountain. They that worship them shall be confounded. Right? Now I'm going to read these next verses real quick. It says,
let me say something. Slakia. They that worship him shall be confounded. Allah's an idol. What happens to followers of Allah, brother, when we on the street corners?
They get confounded because they can't beat the word of the Lord. The word of the Lord is too strong.
It's a sure word of prophecy. We confound their ass. Can you read that scripture one more time? You got it right there?
Right, Khan. This is
just that one
6.
line.
Just that one line? All right, so I'm going to read the chapter and the verse. This is Baruch chapter 6 and then verse number 39. It says, their gods of wood, which are overlaid with gold and silver, are like the stones that are hewn out of the mountain. They that worship them shall be confounded.
Now you have it. You have it.
Oh, I got
they
two
that
more.
Worship him be confounded. Go ahead.
I got 2 more that's going to really hit home. All right, so actually 3 more that's going to hit home. It says, how should a man then think and say that they are gods when even the Chaldeans themselves dishonor them? Who if they shall see one dumb that cannot speak, they bring him and entreat Bel that he may speak as though he were able to understand. Yet they cannot understand this themselves and leave them, for they have no knowledge. Talking about the idols have no knowledge. They can't think. They're wood and stone. They have no brain.
Right. That's why they get confounded. Because
the
sure word of prophecy that we have is beyond Allah and the moon god and Amun Ra and all of these stupid, ridiculous gods that has no prophecy and history to back it up.
None.
See, the Lord, like I said, he's like Babe Ruth pointing out to the corner. I'm going to knock it out the park right there. Boom. Prophecy fulfilled. Boom. Yahweh Shai actually born. Boom. You got different historians speaking on it in antiquities of the Jews.
Right.
Flavius Josephus spoke about it. He wasn't a believer, man.
Right.
He wasn't a believer. He was just a historian, a right-hand man to the king at the time, or the Caesar at the time.
Right.
See what I'm saying? He was just a historian like Herodotus, recording little things and events. And who did he talk about? Yahweh Shai. The followers of the way. The Lord, Yahweh Shai. He was the way. So he wasn't real? Oh, he was just the prophet? Then why did Daniel talk about it in the 9th chapter? In the 26th verse? Why did Zephaniah 9 and 9 talk about the Lord returning? On a donkey. The foal of a donkey, or the foal of an ass.
Right, which is prophesied when you read about
that all happened.
Yeah.
Isaiah 53. That's talking about the Lord. I believe it's 1 Samuel or 2 Samuel. I think it might be 2 Samuel 7. Yeah, I believe it's 2 Samuel 7, where the word of the Lord came on to I think it was the prophet Nathan.
Yep. Nathan.
Yep, regarding Yahweh Shai, which is really, he was talking about King Solomon, but it was Yahweh Shai that his kingdom would last forever. And if he committed iniquity, which he did as Solomon, that he would be chastened with the rod of men. Fulfilled when Yahweh Shai came on the scene. Talked about by Flavius Josephus. Talked about by different men.
Right.
Out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word's going to be established. Daniel. He talked about it. 70-week prophecy. That happened. That was before Cyrus even came on the scene to take the money out of the royal treasury to rebuild the temple of Jerusalem. And from that period of time, Yahweh Shai coming in was the 70 weeks he was talking about, minus the last week, because we're in the last week now.
Right, because we had to go through all that. We had to go through all that captivity, the Babylonian captivity, the Assyrian captivity. We had to go through all of those captivities.
You got it, Doc. He's going to get a real quick precept after you, and then I got to get a water.
Khan, all the Roman captivity. We went through all of that stuff like that. And then, unfortunately, the Lord came during the time of the Roman captivity. You know?
Speaking of the Lord, this is John chapter 8, verse 13.
Khan.
It says, the Pharisees therefore said unto him, thou bearest record of thyself, thy record is not true. Verse 14. Yahweh.
Oh, read that again.
Oh, Slacky.
Read that again. Go back.
This is John chapter 8, verse 13.
Uh-huh.
The Pharisees therefore said unto him, thou bearest record of thyself.
Whoa. The Pharisees said unto Yahweh Shai, thou bearest record of thyself. Hold up. No, the prophets bear record of Yahweh Shai as well. So he was just telling them what the prophets was. These are what the prophets were saying about me, pretty much in a sense. But he says, they say, thou bearest record of thyself. Go ahead. Read that again and then go ahead.
This is John chapter 8, verse 13. The Pharisees therefore said unto him, thou bearest record of thyself, thy record is not true.
The record is not true.
Verse
so they basically said, well, you ain't the Messiah. It's pretty much what they said to his face. You ain't the Messiah. You ain't the one that was to come. Go ahead.
Verse 14, Yahushua answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true.
Yeah,
I know whence I came.
Go ahead.
For I know whence I came and whither I go. But ye cannot tell whence I come and whither I go.
Yeah, ye cannot tell whence I come or whither I go. Saying y'all
ye judgment.
Go.
Fuck you.
Go ahead.
Ye judge after flesh, I judge no man.
Right, and that was a prophecy. He said, ye judge after man, I judge no man. That was a prophecy that was of Yahweh Shai, knowing who he is. It was spoken about in the prophecy. Go ahead.
And yet if I judge, my judgment is true. For I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me. It is also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true. I am bear witness of myself, and the Father Yahweh that sent me beareth witness of me.
Right, there you go. So there's two people that bear witness. Matter of fact, he has a whole list of people that bear witness. But he was just speaking about how the Heavenly Father bears the witness, him and himself, pretty much. Yeah,
Give me
that was a beautiful scripture.
Give me Jeremiah 25, 11 and 12. So we're going to talk about the prophecy here, man, in the 70 years of captivity.
I got it, bro.
Let's get it.
This is Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 11. And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years.
There you go. And that happened. Keep going.
Verse 12, and it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon.
Did that not happen? They got taken
the
out. Go ahead.
That nation, saith the Lord.
What's up, brother?
Say, yeah, Nebuchadnezzar. He was taken out by Cyrus.
That's right. Go ahead.
And that nation, saith the Lord, for their iniquity in the land of the Chaldeans, and will make a perpetual desolations.
There you go.
Yeah, they made the land a perpetual desolation. Because not Nebuchadnezzar, when Nebuchadnezzar came on the scene, he destroyed everything in the path. The temple, everything. He took everything out of the temple. He carried along the king at the time, which was the king Jokichin. All right. Okay.
Yep.
That's what was carried off into captivity. Go ahead, brother.
Yep. In about 586 BC, Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the temple of Jerusalem built by Solomon. And it says after the destruction of the city, he took more of the Jews into captivity. That could be easily be confirmed through history.
Yeah, because history speaks for itself.
That's a prophecy. So we talk about that the Lord is dealing with the nation of Israel. We have a more sure word of prophecy. It's because these things were spoken of prior to the events taking place. Just like we're talking about the RFID microchip. Just like we're talking about wars and the wars. We're talking about that men shall desire to go into a city and won't be able to. That's all happening currently now. You can't go to the UK right now. You can't fly over there, man.
No.
They won't let you in. You'll have to quarantine.
Yeah,
There's
because of that.
wars, rumors of wars, pestilences, the sedition among men. This is all being happened now.
Yeah, and it's all because of that one word. That CV. It's all because of that one word. We know what it's about. Can't really speak on it, but you know. But Khan, go ahead, finish that, brother.
That's right. That's about it on that.
Oh yeah, so yeah, during the time of Nebuchadnezzar, right, when he took down the nation of Israel, well, the Judah, kingdom of Judah, he took down, right, because the Assyrian, huh?
Oh no, Salaki, I do got one actually. Micah 5 and 2.
Go ahead, brother. By all means, go ahead.
Khan, this is another prophecy about Yahushai.
Yep, bring it out.
Once again, you know.
Right.
Get Micah 5 and 2. This prophecy is talking about Yahushai.
Yeah, the book of Micah talks about a lot about Yahushai.
Of his birth and all of that, man.
Yeah.
Where he would be born. They see the Lord gets specific about where people are gonna be born, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
He wrote this about 700 BC. Micah wrote this, man. And it took place in about 4 BC.
Yep.
You got it? You're gonna hit Micah 5 and 2 up. Just use
God.
No. So yeah, 700 BC he recorded this information, and about 700 years later it came back. Now you may be thinking, damn, 700 years, that's a long time. Well, not to the Lord, it's not. Go ahead.
This is Micah chapter 5, verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth of me that is to be the ruler in Israel.
Let's go. Talking about the Lord came out of Bethlehem. Say it again.
Yep.
This is Micah chapter 5, verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel.
There you go. In Bethlehem of Judea.
House of bread. Born in the
Thus
house
is
of
written
bread.
of the prophet. Yep. And that's Matthew 2, 4 through 5. That's also confirmed right there.
That's correct.
So 700 years is confirmed in Matthew, the 2nd chapter, in the 4th verse. We're just confirming the prophecies. How about Cyrus being born? You know, Isaiah, the 45th chapter, verse number 1. So we read about a man named Cyrus, right? And he was to do what? He was to handle his business. This is 700 BC. So Cyrus wasn't even born until the 6th century BC. 200 years later. Go ahead.
You want me to start at verse 28 for 45?
Isaiah 45 and 1.
This is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus.
Cyrus. Now, if you look at his Luke letter, it talks about King Cyrus. It's clearly talking about Cyrus of Persia. Go ahead.
Whose right hand I have holden, subdue nations before him.
Yeah, he held the hand of him, meaning he made him do this. Go ahead, because the king's hand the king's heart was lob is in the heart of the or is in the mind. What is it? King's heart is in the Lord. Yep, I got it. He turneth it like the rivers of a water course whithersoever he will.
Yep.
If the Lord wants him to smash Babylon, it's going to happen. You know? Go ahead.
And it says, and I will loose the loins of kings to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut.
Good.
I will go before thee and make the crooked the straight. The crooked places straight. I'll start again. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will break in the pieces the gates of brass and cut in sunder the bars of iron.
There you go. So he was going to destroy the Babylonian Empire.
And he was
All
going
right.
to release Judah from their captivity.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Because it's
Isaiah
70
wrote.
weeks. Right, because that prophecy was fulfilled. So
Beautiful.
he needed to come through and break that and have them come back and rebuild the second temple, which it was stated. Go ahead.
Absolutely perfect. Right. So Isaiah wrote this in about the 8th century BC, 740-ish BC.
Correct.
And but wasn't born until the 6th century BC, approximately 200 years later. So how could Isaiah name Cyrus before he was even born?
Because guess what? Isaiah is a prophet.
That's why he's a prophet of the Lord.
Yeah, exactly.
So history records Cyrus the Great was the founder of the Persian Empire, and he reigned from 559 to 530 BC.
Yep.
During which time he united the Medes and the Persians into a formidable world empire. He was a warrior and fought many battles, but his most famous one was conquering the city of Babylon.
Yep.
All right, which it says was thought to be impossible because of the thick walls that surrounded the city.
Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar had it shut down tight.
Yep.
Yeah, he had it shut down tight. But Cyrus' prophecy had to be fulfilled. Cyrus destroyed all of that. Dropped all that down to his knees. Go ahead, read more. Read what he got. What else he got?
Yeah, it just says Isaiah's prophecy was very specific, even mentioning the double doors in the gates that would open before him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All around the 200 years in advance, Isaiah went on to prophesy that Cyrus would permit the Jews to return to rebuild Jerusalem.
That's what I said.
Consider the fact that Isaiah wrote about this. The Jews were not even in captivity, and Babylon was not yet a major world power. That's real crazy.
He wrote it before it happened.
He talked about them going to Babylon wasn't even on the scene yet. Let me say it again. This is Isaiah went on to prophesy that Cyrus would permit the Jews to return and rebuild Jerusalem. Let's consider the fact that when Isaiah wrote about this, the Jews were not even in captivity. And Babylon was not yet a major world power.
Right.
You see, this is here, Isaiah 44 and 28. It says, matter of fact, you can read it, brother. Isaiah 44.
Yeah, read it again.
Yeah. Get Isaiah 44 and 28.
That's what I'm going to pull up.
Are you about to get that? All right, come on, let's get it.
It's Isaiah chapter 44, verse 28. That saith of Cyrus, he is my shepherd, and shall perform all my pleasure, even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built, into the temple, thy foundation shall be laid.
There you go. It wasn't even destroyed yet.
Yep, the first temple wasn't.
We weren't in captivity, and the temple wasn't destroyed. And that's crazy.
Yep.
They were like, "What are you talking about? There's a guy named Cyrus, the double doors."
What are you talking about? Pretty much, yep.
Going into captivity, rebuilding a temple. Temple's right here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Solomon, the temple that Solomon built, still standing right now.
Right. What are you talking about? The temple ain't gonna be destroyed.
Go ahead.
Okay, keep going. Oh, matter of fact, give me Ezra 6 and 3 after that.
Oh, beautiful. That's a good scripture to follow up.
Fulfillment of this prophecy is also in Second Chronicles.
Yeah, because all the history is in Chronicles. That's why Chronicles is a history book. You can go in and read that.
Correct. From the Greek word chronos, which means time.
Or chronological order.
That's why they say
time.
Yep. Go ahead.
This is Ezra, chapter 6, verse 3. In the first year of Cyrus the king, the same Cyrus, the king made a decree concerning the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem.
Now that's crazy. It almost gave me the chills. Because when you think about that, you know, absolutely amazing how these prophecies that were talked about happened and the judgment went forth of the Lord. When the Lord says something, he will surely do it for sure, man. That's beautiful. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let the house be builded, the place where they've offered sacrifices.
Right. That's the temple. Go ahead.
Simple,
Let
yep.
let the
Go ahead,
foundation
brother.
strongly laid, the height thereof 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 60 cubits.
That's 60 cubits. So 60 by 60. So that's a straight up temple. He even gave the measurements.
Yeah, that's a straight temple right there.
That's
Yep.
he gave the measurement before he was born, man. That's crazy, man.
That's it on that?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got more? If you got more, go ahead. Because it would only make sense.
Yeah, we got a little bit more. Let me see what else.
Unless you got that Ezra in there.
Yeah, because the scriptures talk about 2 Timothy 3:16. All scripture is given by the Heavenly Father, you know.
There you go. By the inspiration of the Heavenly Father.
Right. For prophecy and all of that stuff, man.
I got a scripture.
Prophecy edifies. What you got?
I got Isaiah 55:11.
All right.
So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It
Right.
shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
That's right. That's why things happen the way it happened. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody that's going to be able to see.
Yeah, calm. Matter of fact, get the book of Numbers real quick.
You know?
Before you
Yep. And then Isaiah 46, 11. About, matter of fact, yeah, I'll get Isaiah 46, 9 and 11 real quick.
Would you want Numbers?
I'm gonna get the book of Numbers real quick. Numbers, give me Numbers 19. Numbers 23 and 19. Give me that right there.
All right, let me get this real quick before that. Isaiah 46 and remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I am God, it says, which is power, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
The things that are not yet done.
Saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So you're not going to be able to stop the Lord's prophecies, man. If we told you there's going to be a microchip and an RFID microchip, that's going to happen. All right? Because you need to be able to buy and sell, and there's got to be a recognition system. That's got to be it. All right?
Yeah, go ahead. Khan, that's correct. Because what we told you is completely correct. Nothing's going to stop the prophecy of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Nothing's going to stop the prophecy of the Heavenly Father at all. And his son.
Right.
And his son, you know? So it's not going to happen.
Oh, that's
I was thinking about, get numbers 23, right? And 19 real quick, brother. Because that's actually a good scripture.
This is Numbers chapter 23, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
Is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. He had said, and he said, he said, and shall he not do it? And shall he not make it good?
And shall he not
Behold,
make it good?
I have received commandments, and I cannot reverse it.
Right, and he cannot reverse it. That's why everything that's in the book always happens, and there's not everything has been brought to pass yet. All right.
That's right.
So just like when the Lord stated that Cyrus was going to be the first ruler of the Medo-Persian Empire, that's exactly what he was. Isaiah 44 and 28 talks about the rebuilding of the temple. You know, and he says specifically, who says of Cyrus, he was my shepherd. He shall perform all my pleasure. You know, saying to Jerusalem, you shall be built, and the temple, the foundation shall be laid, roughly paraphrased. That happened. 200 years prior.
That's correct.
So that the Israelites knew who he was. Oh, this is Cyrus. This is the guy in Isaiah. This is the same guy that's written up in Isaiah. You see how these scriptures are powerful, man.
Yeah, and Jeremiah was around during that Babylonian captivity.
Right. To any dumbbell that tries to say anything about our book, we're going to disprove them with this powerful book, man. Because this ain't no joke, you know? And it's a shame that only 5 people are watching this. It's a shame, man. I'm going to say, what? You brothers, you cool. But I'm just saying, the fact that this is one of the most powerful topics that you could talk about. Prophecy. Prophecy. 5 viewers, bro. I'm on here. So,
matter of fact, brother, can you grab Kassad, brother, grab Isaiah 34 and 16, brother. Baba Kasha. Just real quick.
Isaiah 34 and 16?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
This is Isaiah chapter 34, verse 16, and it reads, Seek ye out of the book of the Lord, Yahweh, and read.
The book of the Lord, Yahweh, and read. That's the Bible. Go ahead.
And no one of these shall fail, and none shall want her mate.
Right. The prophecy is not going to fail. Everything that's spoken about, it either came to pass or it's going to come to pass, no matter what it may be. Go ahead.
For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them.
Right. In his spirit it hath gathered them. There you go.
And he hath cast the lot for them, and his hand hath divided it unto them by line. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein.
There you go. So the book of the Lord and read the Bible. Everything that's in the Bible is history, prophecy, and a heritage. Right? And judgment. Everything that's written in there is correct, regardless of whether how you may feel or I feel like this. Well, brother, I don't, you're not teaching it. I don't feel you feeling the right thing. You're not teaching the right thing. Well, guess what? We don't give a damn what you think, right? Because the scriptures say what they say. There is what there is, and it's plain.
Right.
The history is plain.
Right. And it was very powerful that Daniel lived through the Medo-Persian conquest of Babylon, because he saw Babylon, he prophesied against it, and he saw the destruction happen to Babylon. So he was blessed. Scriptures say, blessed is he that lived to see the downfall of them.
Matter of fact, he met Cyrus. He seen Cyrus. He was around during that captivity.
Right. And it says, to overthrow Babylon, the Heavenly Father gave Daniel a vision of a ram expanding its territory, but ultimately being trampled by a male goat.
And that goat is Alexander.
Correct.
So there you go. So Alexander was to come up and take down Cyrus. It was all set up, and it was all set up that way it was supposed to be set up. This is where you get Daniel the 7th chapter at.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. It's just a book, though, bro.
It's just a book of history and prophecy, though, but in our heritage. But it's just a book, though.
A book of specific, tailor-made prophecies that have to pass exactly on schedule.
Okay. A lot of things that Esau, some things he holds back, but a lot of things that Esau talks about in his so-called history books. Certain things. I'm not saying every, but certain things, which is written right here in this Bible. Right,
because the ram with the 2 horns, that's talking about the Medes and the Persians. The Medes and the Persians, the horns represent the power.
Right.
And that merged together as one. And then the he-goat was obviously Greco-Macedonian Empire.
Yep.
Represented in Daniel, the 8th chapter, 21st verse.
There you go.
And before these empires began, the Lord announced them in Daniel's vision.
He showed it to people.
Yeah, Daniel 8 and 5 and verse 21. It says the first king to rule over Greece after overthrowing the Medo-Persian Empire was Alexander the Great, who rapidly defeated Persia after beginning to attack it in 334 BC. More than 200 years after Daniel's vision.
Right, because that was set up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because that was set. It was only set up for Alexander to take down Cyrus later on, after the fact of what Cyrus was to fulfill for the Lord, to bring the Israelites out of captivity, to build the second temple, and then move forward from there on to Alexander the Great.
Well, correction, Cyrus was already gone at that point, but
Well, Cyrus was already gone, but he still took down
the
that
Persians,
kingdom.
the
Yeah,
Persian,
the Persians. He still took down that kingdom. The
Yep.
Persians.
Correct.
You know, Cyrus was gone already. He still
But he
took
took
down
the
that
Persians.
kingdom.
That's correct.
Right. Come on.
Yep. So it said, here's the accuracy about prophecy. Daniel's vision showed the eventual large horn was broken. In the place of it, 4 notable ones came up toward the 4 winds of heaven. So Daniel 8 and 8, that symbolizes the fact that 4 kingdoms rose out of the nation after the rule of Alexander.
Right.
With his power or his posterity. So it wasn't a descendant of Alexander as per scripture. It was his 4 successors. And that's called Roman Daniel the 11th chapter 1 through 4, which is very expensive.
Yeah, Lasamachus, Cassander, Ptolemy, and Seleucus. The 4 generals, the 4 major generals that had taken over parts of the empire of Alexander.
That's right.
There you go.
Yep. So it says history shows that the prophecies regarding Alexander were fulfilled in accurate detail. After his rapid rise to power, he died at a young age. Alexander's kingdom was divided into 4 parts that were ruled by his generals. See, that's scary. Look at this. First century Jewish historian, was really Israelite.
Yep.
Flavius Josephus provided a fascinating validation of the fact that Daniel recorded these prophecies before the time of Alexander. So Flavius Josephus, a non-believer, recorded that he pointed out that Daniel talked about this happening, and it did happen. But it's just a book of stories. Somebody smoking the peace pipe, man. They got these dumbasses who think stuff like that.
It's just a book of stories, man.
They were just chilling in a van, man.
Nah, it's not a book of stories. It's a book of history. Book of history, prophecies, and like I stated, our heritage, which is the laws, statutes, and commandments, which was stated in the beginning during the time of us coming out of Egypt. Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, so on and so forth, man.
So look at this. I'm going to cite the exact source of Flavius Josephus too. So all you got Flavius Josephus, make sure you check this out. It says, discussing the events when Alexander came to Jerusalem before his ultimate victory over Persia, Josephus wrote the following, quote, and when the book of Daniel was showed him, Alexander, wherein Daniel declared that one of the Greeks should destroy the empire of the Persians, he supposed that himself was the person intended. Quote, end quote. This is Antiquities of the Jews, book 11, chapter 8, section 5, it says.
Yeah, I got that book.
There you have it. So you know, through history, Daniel, it says that when the book of Daniel was showed to Alexander, Alexander read himself about himself. He was like, oh shit, this is me. I'm the one doing this right now. This was written up 200 years ago? Damn.
Shows you how much power the Lord has.
The Lord has massive power. So it says Alexander was able to see the prophecies that had been written of him in the book of Daniel. Prophecies that had been recorded more than 200 years earlier.
Yeah, before he was even on the scene.
This is shocking information. Shocking. So if you believe in anything else, you got to drop that shit, man. This is the best. This is the best there is. The best there was, and the best there
will be. Oh, Shawn Michaels, is that what it is?
No, that was Bret Hart, actually.
Oh, Bret Hart. Oh,
The
God,
Hitman.
the
The
Hitman.
Hitman Hart.
Yeah, God.
So it says here, Antiochus Epiphanes defiles the sanctuary. The conclusion of the vision of Daniel, the 8th chapter, and the vision in Daniel, the 11th chapter, provide details about an event that would occur long after Alexander's death. As described in Daniel 8:8, 4 horns arose, and the large horn that was broken, representing Alexander's 4 generals come into power. Daniel 11 gives the detailed prophecy of the 2 empires that grew out of Alexander's. All right, that's Antiochus and Ptolemy.
Yeah.
And Daniel, the 11th chapter, is about damn near 200 years of history here.
So it's a long, extremely long breakdown. If you was to do it, it'll probably be well over 5 hours.
Yeah, it's a very extensive, long breakdown with war after war after war after event, marriages to daughters and things of this nature. Bernice and that lady, what's her name? Laodice,
yeah.
DC and Bernice and the Antiochus, the first, and the marriage that took place, the South, King of the North, all that. You got to know all that, man.
Well.
Because we study around. Because we study around here, don't we?
Yeah, we study.
We know Cyrus was in the scriptures. We know because we look into it. That's why. We go into it.
Study to show thyself approved.
Study to show thyself approved. That's what these. Now, this may not be a popular video, but I could give a damn because the hardcore real truth people, they're going to check this out and they're going to be edified, man.
Right.
So, anyway, it says Daniel 11 gives a detailed prophecy of the 2 empires that grew out of Alexander's. This eventually led to the time of a vile king whose forces would, quote unquote, defile the sanctuary fortress. Then they shall take away the daily sacrifices and place the abomination of desolation. That's Daniel 11 and 31. So who was this? History shows that a fulfillment of this prophecy can be found in Antiochus Epiphanes, a Seleucid king who ruled from 175 to 164 BC.
Yeah, which ultimately led.
And this is right around the time of Judas Maccabees.
Right.
And Hanukkah, which is another validation of prophecy. And we got the coin mints. When you look at money in the Nelson Illustrated Bible Dictionary, it talks about the money, when it was printed, who was in rulership at the time, time-stamped coins with the faces on it, with the face on it.
Face on it.
The side joint. The side profile.
Well, that's how we know who's in rulership. That's how we know who's in rulership today. Their faces is on the coins. Yahweh Shai even spoke about that. He goes, let me whose face is on that money? That's what Yahweh Shai says. He said, whose face is on that money? Is that Caesar's face?
Caesar's, yeah, right.
That's Caesar's face. So that's what we know. That's how we know who's in rulership today.
That's his money. Give him his money.
Give him his money. And render unto what the Most High is with the Most High. That's what he said to him. Roughly paraphrase.
Yep, here's some more prophecy. It says Antiochus persecuted the Jews and made all forms of Jewish, which is Israelite, worship illegal. That's where this is where you get the understanding of there's neither Jew nor Greek. We're all one in Yahweh Shai. Let me read it. Yep. I'm gonna read it one more time. Antiochus persecuted the Jews.
Right.
The Jews. And made all forms of Israelite worship illegal, including the daily sacrifices. He established the worship of the Greek god Zeus in the temple in Jerusalem and sacrificed pigs in the temple altar. This declaration of the temple is referred to in Daniel 11 and 31 as the abomination of desolation. There will be a future fulfillment of the abomination at the time of the end. Daniel 12, 9 through 11. But the actions of Antiochus provided fulfillment of this prophecy as well.
Yeah, okay. You said at the end, right? So going all the way from the ancient pagan Roman Empire all the way to America, Babylon.
All the way to the end of America.
to right now where America stands at, which America came out of Britain.
Yep.
So here it is right here. We're here right now.
Right. And then they got the 70-week prophecy, providing the precise dating of Yahushai's ministry on this earth. So what now? Now what are you to say?
You ain't got nothing to say.
Yeah, you don't have nothing to say.
There's nothing you can say. The prophecy speak for itself, to speak loud and clear. So there's nothing that can be said, to be honest. You can try to refute it and try to, try to bring your own little spew in there, but it ain't gonna it ain't gonna work.
Right. So the Lord said, when the scriptures, Daniel's 70-week prophecy, 70 weeks are determined for your people, roughly paraphrasing, and for your holy city to finish the transgression, to make it end. And then it says that the Messiah, the prince, is going to be cut off after these things. So what and when? So this verse 24 lists 6 things to be accomplished by the end of the 70-week prophecy. Finish the transgression, make the end, make a reconciliation or atonement for iniquity, all Yahushai, bring in everlasting righteousness, seal up the vision in the prophecy, and anoint the most holy. That's Yahushai.
Yeah, Con.
So it's roughly about, and it says here, the period of 70 weeks is divided into 3 time periods. 7 weeks, 49 years, 62 weeks, which is 434 years, and 1 week, 7 years.
Right, which is going back to the time of Nebuchadnezzar captivity.
Yep.
A lot of it goes back to the Nebuchadnezzar captivity, which we were in because we transgressed the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem. That's why it says to finish the transgression. Transgression was we broke the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what the transgression was. So we needed to serve out our punishment.
Right. Right. And to do away with sin altogether, the Lord Yahushai, which confirming that, is Hebrews 10th chapter. When you go to Hebrews the 10th chapter, it tells you that the law, which was a shadow of things to come, and it outlines specifically the law of sacrifices. That was the shadow of things to come. Yahushai being the ultimate sacrifice for the nation of Israel's elect, first and foremost, and then all the rest of the Israelites in the kingdom through the loins of the elect.
Right, because you need a consecration, or pretty much someone to come in, unblemished lamb, because at the time the animal sacrificing, that's what during the midst of that time, animal sacrificing was done away with as well. There was no way that we can sacrifice to the Lord with animal, because the Lord wasn't going to accept it. So he had to do away with all of that, and we had to have somebody who was unblemished, somebody of an unblemished lamb, come and reconcile us back to the Most High.
Correct.
And that would be Yahushua, simple and plain. That's
right. And he would make an end of sacrifice and offering, the scriptures talk about. And that's the fulfillment is Hebrews 10 and 14 through 18. We're talking about the new covenant.
Right.
Okay? And that Yahweh was the end of that sacrifice, just like I told you,
Yeah, which will make Yahushua the Passover.
Sacrifice. Slaki, what'd you say?
Which will make Yahushua the Passover.
Right. Correct. Also, technically, we don't get to see guys.
Yeah, they go. See, you see what that guy just said? He said, "We'll make Yahushua the Passover."
We don't really got to keep the Passover, brother.
No, technically, you do got to keep the Passover, because it said we will keep the Passover throughout all our generations.
All our generations.
So you're going off if you're not keeping it.
Right.
To the best of your ability.
Right. So that's a major prophecy. So yeah, it's undisputed, man. With that, man, hey, I think we did
wrap it up. Yeah.
And there will be judgment. We'll probably do a part 2 of this, man, Lord willing, man, maybe tomorrow night,
Yeah, Lord willing.
Because this is a major topic that needs to be discussed, man. And we didn't get into the final judgment, but there will be a judgment on America that's going to be absolutely phenomenal, because of all the wickedness that stemmed up thus far, all the blood that's all over the land, man, and the spilling of the blood of the prophets. It can only be cleansed by the blood that shed it. And it's going to be destroyed by nuclear thermal destruction, man.
This is gonna be beautiful, and then more fire drop down.
Blow this goddamn place up
by the chariots and Yahweh Shai. So yeah,
that's right, man.
That's right.
So yeah, man. With that, man. Hey, Lord willing, y'all brothers were edified out there, man. All right.
Khan.
Name of Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Ba'ashem. Harakah Chodash.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Peace be on to you, brothers, man. And abad babal, man.
And abad babal.
Shalom.
Stay strong, kings.